What's up, guys? What's up, everybody? All right. Let's get ready for our live this evening. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please, as you come on board, give me a shout out. Let me know where you're hailing from. Okay. Let me know where you're calling in from, where you're tuning in from. Okay. As we move forward. All right. Okay. I'll give you just a minute. Thank you guys so much for your time and for coming out to be with us tonight. All right. Just holding on for a minute. Our app is still in the aggressively moving forward. Hey, Rosie in the house. We're aggressively moving forward with our app. Great things are happening. One thing you'll notice, we're still overcoming some slight tweaks. You'll notice that some of the commentary from last week is still in there. Just ignore that. Sometimes we have these technical glitches. Those are some of the things that we're working out. But still, just continue to let me know if you're in. Rosie in the house from Atlanta, Georgia. And some of you sign on, but you don't let me know. For all of you sleepers out there, just sign in for a minute just to say, hey, what's up? I know we had a good group of people who signed up last week from Alabama, which was always cool to have new people coming in after our conferences. And so let's represent. Let's represent as we get ready for tonight's episode, tonight's broadcast. Okay. All right. Who's in the house? Tonight we're talking about something a little special. Pringles, what's up? All right, we got Pringles. We got Marie Paul from the ATL. ATL showing out. Hey, look, we have just a few announcements before we get started. We're going to, these things happen. Beyonce had a hey from St. Lucia and Jean Glasgow. Even Beyonce had to reduce her price tickets. But what we're doing right in the middle of our tour planning, we're pushing the dates back a little bit. So now our Atlanta tour will be in June. Go to, you can find out more. But May 17th, we did run into some complications for that particular date and time, and our preparedness and making sure that we everything was perfectly right. So we're pushing back a little bit for June. Okay. All right, guys. Let's move forward, but you'll be hearing more and more about that in the very, very near future as we move forward. Hey, guys. All right. Hello, Wendy Roberson. Okay, let's jump right into it. In our on our text or our notification, the question was, and this is one of the questions that was asked from one of our viewers. Hey, Jeffrey. One of our viewers says, how do I respect my spouse? Well, specifically, it was how do I respect my husband when I don't feel he deserves it? Wow. Hi, Leslie. How do I respect my husband when I don't feel he deserves it? This is deep. This is very, very deep. It's a good question, one that I'm sure people have asked and have experienced. Michelle, how are you? I'm sure a lot of people have asked that question. How do I respect my husband? Or I'm going to say even my spouse, because it could go both ways when I don't feel as though they deserve it. So tonight we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about respect. And what if a person, your partner, your spouse, your significant other, what if you feel they don't deserve your respect? What if they don't deserve it? What if you don't feel as though they're living up to getting your respect? They don't deserve it. Why should I respect them? Let's talk about it. And the first thing we want to do before and please, as you know the format here, you're free to chime in. You're free to make comment. You're free to say things and let us know what your opinions are, because every opinion is valued. The only one that is not valued is one that is not spoken, because we don't know what it is. So please go ahead and tell us what you're thinking. So let's talk about what respect is. All right. And if I were to ask you to please just let me know what you think respect is, you can do that. But I'm going to go ahead and give you some definitions. One definition of respect is admiration and esteem. Admiration and esteem. Because respect often stems from the admiration for someone's abilities or their qualities or their accomplishments, but it also can be based on your position or your role in society. So respect can come from a number of different ways, but it's generally admiration, esteem, or your role in society. For instance, you respect a police officer because he has the authority to enact punishment. You respect people who have accomplished great things in society, people who may have billions of dollars, or maybe your doctor. I respect my doctor. So we know the respect comes from those places, or the pastor. I respect the pastor of my church, okay? Because, he's a man of God or whatever. Okay. So that's one definition of respect, is admiration or esteem. But respect also involves being considerate of other persons or other people's feelings. Okay, so when we talk about respect also, we're talking about other people's feelings or their wishes or their boundaries. This means avoiding actions that could harm or offend them. Okay, now as I'm talking, if you can think of some things, some ways to define respect, please chime in and do so. You don't have to wait or raise your hand. Just go ahead. Also, if I respect you, I will value you and I will prioritize you. So when we talk about respecting, we're also talking about prioritizing or making sure that your opinions are considered and that you know that I'm considering your opinion. It is a sure sign of disrespect when you're talking to someone and they are ignoring you. When they are ignoring you as though what you're saying is poo-poo. When they're completely ignoring what you're saying, that is a sign of disrespect. When I value you, when I respect you, I will prioritize. If you're saying something, I'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry. What is it? What are you saying? I want to hear what you're saying." Okay, that's a sign of respect. Okay, Rick, my man Rick. All right, putting wifey on a pedestal. All right, and Rick, I want you to come back and tell me what that looks like. Okay, putting wifey on a pedestal. I agree with that personally. Putting wifey on a pedestal, exalting her, letting her feel special, making sure. But tell me more specifically what that means to you. Respect is valuing someone's worth, their boundaries, and their voice. Okay. Valuing someone's worth. Okay. You are worthy. You are worth something. Or as Rick was saying, making sure that my wife feels as though she's special, putting her on a pedestal. And another way to respect someone is by treating them as you wish to be treated. That is, if you wish to be treated well. Okay. It's by treating somebody as you wish to be treated. If your goal is to be treated well. If you're into some self-deprecating kind of thing where you don't mind being abused, well then no, please don't treat people that way. But only treat people in the positive ways that you wish to be treated. It's giving the same consideration and kindness that you would like to receive in return. Okay? So that's all respect. So now back to our original question. Should I respect my spouse, my husband, my wife. And I got some men here. Thank God. I got Rick here. I got Jeff. I got some other men. I got Yeshua here. These guys are going to help me speak because I love it when the men are in the house. But how do I respect somebody, or should my wife respect me? Let's just leave it there. Should my wife respect me if she feels like I don't deserve it? She feels like I don't deserve it. And here's what Marie Paul says. I respected my husband because he tried to be a husband, but I didn't trust him. Wow. And we can unpack that. I respected him because he tried to be a husband, but I didn't trust him. His promises had zero substance. He passed away 9 years ago. Okay, wow. That's deep. That's deep, Marie. You said you respected the office that he had. You respected the position that he had as husband, if I'm hearing you right, Marie. You're respecting the position he has as a husband, but you did not trust him, and because he was not showing up, or he was not fulfilling his promises. God bless his soul. He's no longer with us, so I ain't gonna speak ill of the dead. But regardless, I think that's what you mean. Oh yeah, you did say he passed away. But there's a difference in what you're pointing out here, Marie, is respecting his position as husband. Even if you question him as an adult or as a human or as his responsibilities, you respect the fact that this man is my husband. There is something to be said for having respect for a position. There's something to be said about that. It's the way we live. In any well-ordered society, there are positions that people respect. There are positions that people have to have some esteem for. And we know that it's all perceived power, but still, nevertheless, if you want to have a society that's actually orderly, it has to be respected power. Okay? Yeshua says you can't love someone without respecting them. Absolutely. Absolutely. You cannot. But you can respect someone without loving them. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I think I put that in. You must read my book because I put that in the book. That you can love somebody, you can respect somebody without loving them, but you cannot love someone without respecting them. So the question is, if I don't respect you, am I also saying that I'm having problems loving you? Ann Jean said to admire your spouse deeply. Yeah, to admire them, to look up to them, to have them in awe. You know, not awe, but like awe. Okay. To hold them in awe. Wendy says, respect strengthens love by affirming that your partner matters. So if you don't respect your spouse, does it mean they don't matter in your life? Wow. Y'all dropping knowledge here. It could mean that they have devalued in your perspective, that they have not appreciated, but maybe depreciated in your world. Once you start losing respect and you don't feel that you're respecting that person, it's almost like their credit is dropping. Their relational credit is dropping. They're not in the 800s anymore. Okay? They might be hovering around 500. You can't buy a car, you can't get a house. All right? You can't you're just hovering around in that lower area. But if I respect you, then your value to me has increased. Okay. There's an admiration I have for you. There's a regard I have you. I prioritize you. I value you. If someone does something that is disrespectful though, should I stop respecting them? If someone is acting in a way, let's say that he lost his job and he's having trouble, should I lose respect for you because you're not fulfilling the role? What brings about respect? Is it your intrinsic value, or is it just the things you do? Where does the respect lie? Is it in your intrinsic value, or is it in just the things you do? Because to be very honest, if for some reason I cease to be a provider and making money, if I cease to be that, should my wife still respect me? Should she still respect me? If I, in a fit of anger, curse her out and call her the B word, should she still respect me? after she hits me? Should she? Okay. Jeffrey said, when I lose respect for a person, the relationship is pretty much over. And I get that. I get that. Because when you get to a point in your relationship, when you've lost respect, you're saying this person here is not valuable to me any longer. That's why when you say, I'm going to tell you something. In your relationship, if you want your relationship, do not ever utter those words, I don't respect you as a man. Don't say that. Oh my God. It's the worst thing you can say to a man. And it's more, and I say that to a man because it's more impactful for a woman to say that to a man because men thrive on respect. Women thrive on love. If we tell our wives, you know what? I don't love you anymore. Ooh, that cuts. But if you tell a man, I don't respect you anymore, that cuts more than love. It sincerely does. Okay? Because now you've not only talked about our relationship, you've talked about who I am as a person. It makes a big difference. Okay, let's continue here. When I lose respect for a person, excellent. Wendy says, if you devalue your spouse for any reason and you stay in the marriage with them, how does that affect you? Do you then start reciprocating what you think you're receiving? How does that make you worthy of respect? Okay, if I devalue my spouse for any reason and I stay there, how does that? It affects you tremendously. It affects both of you. Because if I devalued you and I'm with you, after a loss of respect comes the beginning of resentment. And when there's resentment, there's contempt. And when there's contempt, there's not necessarily physical, but there's going to be some kind of emotional abuse. Okay? So understand that when respect goes, contempt takes its place. And when contempt is present, other things tend to creep up that causes you to feel as though this person is no longer valuable to me. All right. Men are typically respected, valued for what they do, not who they are. You're absolutely right. And I think a lot of times that's why it's so difficult if a man is jobless or a man is homeless or a man is not stepping up to the plate. And, you know, he feels like he's a failure. He feels like he's a failure because there's all great. And this is nothing that women do. I think we put that on ourselves. It's because what society requires of us in any culture, society requires the man to be the stronger one in every culture, every religion. It's what's required. I didn't make it up. Okay, Marie Paul says, yes, she should respect him. Absolutely. Jeffrey Ogletree says, no. What does that mean? No, Jeffrey. You're saying no. Okay. Wendy said, husbands need to know how they feel respected and convey that to their wives. The other side to that is living up to what a real man brings to a marriage in character as a provider. Wives have responsibilities too. Absolutely. And thank you for that. And I think that's one thing that's really important when we talk about respect. It's important for you to find out, as men, how you feel respected. What makes you feel respected? And women, it's important for you to feel and to know what makes you feel respected and loved. What is it that I do or don't do that makes you feel respected or disrespected? Incredibly important. And it's a conversation, even if there's no real conflict in your marriage. Even if there's no conflict in your relationship. You don't have to have conflict to have this conversation. But you need to start finding out from your significant other what you need to tell your spouse, rather, what is it that I need? What is it that you need to feel respected? Whether it's how you're talked to, whether it's whether or not you're talked about in a positive manner, if it's something that you need done for you, whatever it is, you guys need to find out what it is that makes me feel respected. Okay. And a lot of times, if we go back far enough, it's more than just a feeling. It's something that didn't arise out of childhood. Most of our issues, most of our challenges, if we go back far enough, we can pinpoint it back to these times or that area in our life where somewhere in our childhood we felt like we were disrespected. We felt like we didn't get enough of this or didn't get enough of that, or somewhere in our lives. So I believe, and I don't mean to sound like a pure Freudian here, but I do believe that a lot of our current issues can be related to our past lives as children. Okay. Leslie says this. Why is it that women are so quick to give or take away respect from men when they never consider whether or not the men in their lives respect them? It's like a double standard for men. Why is it that women are so quick to give or take away respect from men when they never consider whether or not the men in their lives? Okay, yeah, I got you. It's like I hear you, Leslie. I hear you. And I'm glad you mentioned it. Here's the one thing I want you to consider about respect also. When we talk about whether or not I respect you, and I'm glad you use that phraseology, give or take away, because the question then looms over this conversation: can anyone give you respect, or is respect something that is grown out of who you are? I believe people can do things to make you question whether you respect yourself. But can anyone give you respect? And I think that we've gotten to the point where we're kind of like, especially with all the social media and what have you, people are kind of like, I don't respect you, as though you are the giver of respect. And this is what I need you to get, men. And this is what I need you to get, women. I need you to get to the point where if you are living up to your own values, if you are living up to what you know that you ought to be doing in life, no one, and I repeat and say this as emphatically as I can, no one can take away your respect, irrespective of what they say to you. No one. There are people, the only person who could affect me by saying they don't respect me is my wife. Okay? Because I would trust what she says. But if you came and told me you don't respect me, I'm like, expletive you. You can fill that in. Yeah. Because I don't know you and I don't care whether or not you respect me. You know how many people have said things about me online? You know, as far as whether I don't respect it. Man, I don't give a fart about you. I don't care. Okay, let me go on. Here's what Rick says. If value is lost by either spouse, you have to, get this, restart. Get into counseling and multiple daily dosages, prayers throughout the day. Absolutely. And once respect is lost, or once respect is affected, it's an injury in your relationship. It does not mean the end of your relationship. I have been in so many counseling sessions where wives have openly said that they have lost respect for their husbands, but I've seen them work back to regaining it. Let me share this with you. Respect can be learned. Okay, it's not like the color of your skin. Once you get it, you got it, and you can't ever lose it. No. Respect can be learned, and if you feel as though you don't respect someone, it can be learned. Now, the other side to that, the corollary to that, is respect can be learned, but respect must be earned also. So respect is learned and earned. So if someone is trying to respect you because they lost it because of some boneheaded crap that you've done, understand something. You have a long way to go to earn that. So we have the learning and the earning going on simultaneously. They have to learn to respect you, again, by being patient, taking their time, making sure that they see where you are making strides. But you then have to be consistent. The thing that's going to bring respect back into your life is effort and consistency, if that's what you're experiencing. Okay, thank you so much for that, Rick. Jeff says this. I went through a similar situation with my ex-wife. Man, don't get me started. When she was out of work, I never made her feel out of place. I was there for and respected her as if nothing happened. I'll let you go ahead. I'll just read it. When I started to lose respect for her is when she started to show me that she had become comfortable with me doing everything, regardless of how hard it was on me mentally and financially. Man, you are dropping pearls here. Jeffrey, and I appreciate you for sharing that, because here's the thing. What you were feeling was disrespect through being taken advantage of, as you said in your text. And you were there for her, you said, and you acted as though it was nothing happening. Why? Because men do not depend on women, not real men, don't depend on women for money and jobs. That's not why we marry. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for peace and nurturing and comfort and support. We don't look for money. So if you lose your job or whatever, as Yeshua said earlier, we don't attach you to what you do. That's how we're judged. That's how we're looked upon. She said, but when you started to lose respect for her was when she started to show you that she had become comfortable with you doing everything, no matter how hard. She had become, I don't know her from a can of paint. She had become lazy because you were going overboard to love and to forgive and to put her on a pedestal. Now, look, this is not uncommon. It's not uncommon on either side. It's not uncommon on either side, but it's really important for you to understand, man, that in order, this is for women and men, in order for you to be respected, you got to show respect. It is so mandatory. Okay. Thank you, honey. I know you respect me. If your spouse is not respectful to you, it warrants some communication. But if you stop respecting your spouse because you feel they don't respect you, the marriage is downhill after that. It's mutual respect. Yeah, well, if you stop respecting your spouse because you feel they don't respect you, that still requires communication and counseling, okay? Now, it might be going downhill, but it doesn't have to go over the cliff, okay? Mutual respect is so important. Let me share this to you. And I hear you, man. She got lazy, dude. I wish that the relationships that are in those situations, is it irreparable? No, it's not. Mutual respect is essential for a lasting, strong, loving relationship. A marriage built on respect is more likely to be happy, healthy, and lasting. Okay? Because respect fosters love and it fosters intimacy. It sets a positive example for your kids. It helps navigate disagreements. It's a fundamental aspect of being a good partner. Just respecting. It's a fundamental aspect to being a good partner and being a good person. If you're finding that someone is disrespecting you, I will bet you can look at other areas of their life. You can look at other instances in their life. You can go to a restaurant with them and see they probably disrespect the waiters. People who respect you generally have an understanding of respecting humanity. Okay. And watching on TV, Matched, Married, Meet by Lifetime. You are always dropping pearls. Okay. All right. Well, look, our time is up. Our time is up. Thank you guys so much. Breaking boundaries can be considered as this. Yes, you're absolutely right. We'll continue this one on Tuesday night because I think this respect thing is deep and it's important because it's the foundation of a good, healthy relationship. Okay. And so, if you have a question, more questions that you want to discuss, let's talk about it. Okay. And I love this. Jeff said, I will respect a person until they give me reason not to. There you have it. And here's the thing. Even if you give me a reason not to, and I don't respect you, I'm not going to treat you disrespectfully. I don't have to treat you disrespectfully because I don't respect you. There's a difference. Okay. There's a difference because, as my wife always says, don't let someone change who you are accustomed to being. And if I'm accustomed to being a kind, respectful person, just because you're acting in a disrespectful way and I don't respect you anymore, I'm not going to treat you that way. I'm going to treat you better than you deserve. That's what I'm going to do. Okay? All right, guys. Hey, look, our time is up. Put your questions in the app. If you have questions you want to discuss on Tuesday night, put them in the app, okay? God bless you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tell your friends. Come back on Tuesday night. As mentioned last week, we're going to be going one night on Tuesday, and we've been going Tuesday and Thursday, but I'm thinking we may have to pull back some because we got podcast stuff that we're going to be doing now. You're going to be hearing more about that, okay? All right, God bless you guys. Take care of yourself.